So today we have the lab assignment, that is the assignment number 6, right? And this is the concept of structure. So structure that is used for storing the heterogeneous data structure, right? Heterogeneous data. That means in case of array, if we want to store integer, it will only store integer. But if we want to store the information of a student, it contains the student ID, that is an integer. It contains student's name, that is nothing but a character array. And it contains the marks, it may be float. And since the three are different data types, so we need heterogeneous data structure, and that is nothing but a concept of a structure. The thing is that, say if we want to write the structure, the name of the structure is student. So I have to use the keyword which is structure. And then what we have to write? I have to write, say, integer roll number, or you can write an array, a character array, say name maximum 20 character, and say float, you can say marks, right? So this is the structure. The name of the structure is student, right? But the thing is that when you just write the template, this is nothing but a template that we write. So in that particular template, we are not, you can say, assigning any memory. When you have to write, say struct S1, then you can say struct, you can say student S1, then only the memory is been allocated, and the memory is integer that will take 4 byte, this is a character that will take 20 byte, and the float that will take 4 byte. So the total memory that will needed, that is 28 byte, right? But when you have to write union, because this is the obvious questions that you face in your semester questions, that what are the differences between structure and union, and that is a common questions, right? So when you have to write union, you have to just write all the same things. That means all are written in the same way. The only difference is in that case, union only allocates the maximum memory. That means here the maximum memory, that is 20 byte. That means in RAM only this 20 byte that has been allocated. That means when integer will takes place, it will overwrite the data. When this float will take place, that will also overwrite the data. So that's why we cannot allocate these three at the same time in case of union. Actually, union is developed when, you can say, the memory space is limited, the RAM size is very small. But nowadays we are not using union, right? If we see a particular question, say, let's see the difference, then you will understood the thing. Say, first we will see what is the program that is written, then we will come to the discussion that, say this is a program, right? In that particular program, what we write, this is a structure S tag, right? And here character C is given, integer I, float F, and there is a union U tag, there is also character C, long integer I and float. Now I declare the variable, U tag is U variable and S tag is S variable. If we want to find the size of the S var, you will find that you have to find the address of the SVAR and address of the each member, that means SVAR.C, SVAR.I, SVAR.F, and then we find the size of the union, address of the union, and as well as the address of the each member of the union. Then you will understood the thing, that is what is happening. Now if we run this particular code, then what we found here, the size of the SVAR, that is equals to 12. 12 means integer that will take the size, that means you can say this S tag size is where is nothing but, you know, the structure size that will make you the total size of this particular data. And you can see the address is given like that, and address of the each member, if you see, that will take in the different address, but the size of the union, you say this is a long integer I, and that will take 8 byte, and that is why the size of the union is only 8 byte. That means the maximum size that will take, and the address of the union that are same for all the members. That means union only allocate one memory allocations, right? That is the difference, because the address will be same for the both case, 3 cases, but in case of structure the address are different. Okay, and here the maximum size is 8. That means the maximum size is only been allocated in case of union, whereas in case of structure the size of the each and every member that are allocated. So this is the difference between structure and union. Now in your assignment, the next one, that is you have to write a structure that reads and display the information of students. So if we want to find the information of a student, that means you can say, how can we write this particular, that means say that is a particular program, that is a particular program, say, that means that is also the examples, that is arrays within structure. That means here I am declaring a name student, here the name of the student, the roll number, and say each students have 4 subjects. So that is why within this structure I am define an array, that array can contain 4 marks. So this is a structure student str, this is an array, that means I am just restricted it for the 3 student, you can increase this depending on your data type. That means I just want to store the data of the 3 student. Data of the 3 student means the student name, the student roll number, and the 4 subjects marks. So how can we write like that? Enter data for the student, enter name, then means this is a student array dot name, we are storing it like that, and then enter roll number, stu array dot roll number, but I have to enter 4 marks. That means how can you write that? This is an array, within this array there is an also another array. So that is why I am writing j equals to 0 to j less than 4. That means 4 marks will be included. That means what is this? This is an array. This is, you can say, STUARR. That is the 0th location, that is the 1 location, this is the 2th location. And in that location, what I am storing? I stored the name of the student. This is the name of the student. This is the roll number of the student, and as well as we have to store the marks of 1, 2, 3, 4 student marks. So how can we write like that? This marks that I have to entry ampersand STUARRI dot, this is the also an array, so I can write submarks j. Okay, and then I just want to display the result. That means if I want to just display, the student name has been displayed, student roll number has been displayed, and then the student marks is been displayed. So if we run this code, if we run this particular code, then this is the enter data for the student A 1. So name of the student is A, say roll number is 1, and they will give the enter marks for subject 1, right? Say 45, 67, whatever, 4 marks that you have to enter. That is the thing. That in the name of the student 2, you have to enter the data for student 2. So say the name of the student is B, and say the roll number is 2, and the marks is, I am just giving arbitrary marks, right? And then this is the data for the student 3, the name is C, and roll number is 4, and the marks of the 4 subjects is like that. Okay, and then it will display the results. This is the result, right? Enter student roll number, the subjects, this is the student 2, this is the student 3, right? So the data would be stored like that. Data for student 1, name is A, roll number is 1 and marks is this. I have to show it like that. This is the data for student 2, right, and this is the data for the student 3. Clear? So that means that will give you, that will take the name and as well as it will display the students marks. In that particular program I am taking the 4 marks. You can increase it depending on the, so the no, right. So now the thing is that the third thing that is in your assignment, that is nothing but you have to demonstrate the uses of array of structures. Array of structure, that means array, each element of the array that display the structures, right. So how can we demonstrate this? This is also one of the example of the array of structures, right. This is also the example of the array of structure, because this is nothing but the array of structure, because this is also example, because this is an array but that will hold the structures, right. So this is one of the example of array of structures, right. Just a minute.
স্যার আগের উইকে ল্যাব কপি রেখে গিয়েছিলাম।
So this is the also one of the example of array of structures, right. Now there is another assignment that is nothing but print all students name who got marks is greater than equals to 80, right. So greater than equals to 80, that means how can we write this particular thing, greater than equals to 80, that means this is also the example of array of structure. There are lots of example of all are the array of structure. You just see, that means this is nothing but you can say a student structure. This is the name of the student, maximum 20 element, roll number, and that will contain the marks, right. So in that particular case I am declaring an array of structure. This is an array, but the content of the array itself is a structure. I am taking only 3 students, so enter name, roll number and marks. So student array I dot name, there is a student array I dot roll number, student array I dot marks. That means I am taking the marks and I just want to display, this is the storing, right, and I want to display whose student I dot marks is greater than 80. Then I am just display the name of the student, roll number of the student and marks of the student, that I want to. That means if we just, this is a particular case, that means if we run this particular code, here the enter the name, roll number and marks, say the name is A, you can say roll number is 1 and say the marks is 78. I am that is the student B, say the roll number is 2 and the marks is 89, right, and the name is C, say roll number is 4 and the marks is 97. So only the marks for the student B and the student C that has marks greater than 80, that will be displayed. So if we say, you just see, that will only display the marks which is greater than 80. So in that particular, what we have to do, I have to do nothing. That means I have to just give a conditions, this student array I dot marks that should be greater than equals to 80, then it will display the name. Clear? And now in that particular assignment you have to demonstrate the uses of the nested structure. That is not important because a structure within this structure, right. So you can use this like that, and one of the important thing, that is the uses of a structure pointer, because that is important for implementing the linked list concept, right. Without using structure you cannot implement linked list, right? So the thing is that what do you mean by that? That means structure pointer. So say in that particular code, this is a simple example. Say this is the student, you already know that that particular thing is containing name, roll number, marks. I am to declare the student STU. The data is declared like that. Mary is the name, 25 that is the roll number, 68 is the marks. So the students, I am declaring a pointer that will hold the address of the this student structure. So when you have to print like that, that means I want to print the name. I can print like this star ptr dot name, or I can also print by using arrow. You can say roll number or ptr marks, right? In normal case, if you want to access this data, what we have to write? stu dot name, right? But since I am declaring it pointer, then what we have to write? This arrow sign that will come. That is the only difference. That means by using arrow, that means that is nothing but pointer to structure. Simple as that. That means I am accessing the same content by different ways, right? So in that particular case, if you run this code, you will find that there is something star ptr. Oh, that means that should be arrow. They will take the arrow. So, oh, star ptr is there. So that will run, but it is better that you can write like that. So the name is Mary, you can say roll number is 25 and the marks is 68, right? So actually what is the use of that? That means you already know about the array, but in data structure there is a concept, that is the concept of the linked list, right? Because in case of array, what you face the problem, that means if this is an array, say 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, if you want to insert any element after this 30, then you have to shift the whole element, right? And then you can insert, and that is a very problematic. And if you want to delete this, you just cannot delete it. First you have to shift, right? So that's why the concept will came. That concept like that, that will say that that will be connected like a pointer, right? And the last node of the pointer, that should be null, and that particular node will be pointing from the thing that is called head, right? So the thing is that it has two parts, that is the data part and that is the pointer part. That they will take the starting address of the linked list. Only the that means if this address is 100, next is say 20, 200, this is a third, because that is not contiguous, right? And head will pointing to 100, right? So the thing is that, but the main thing is that that particular node, that is a node that contain two things. One is the data section and another thing is the pointer section, and this pointer will pointing to the next node. And that concept is known as self-referential structure. Self-referential structure. You have to write like that, that means struct, the name of the structure is node, and then there is a part which is the data and another part that will call the same structure node with the pointer star next. And that's why this is called self-referential structure, because that is itself a structure and next that is pointing to the same nodes, and that is one of the important concepts. And when you have to write a linked list program, you have to declare this self-referential structure. Clear what I am saying? And that is the important. So I think you can solve these particular questions.